Hi everyone, in today's lesson we're going to be going over a song called One Day Like This by Elbow. It's a relatively simple song, just a few chords in it, and it's nice and slow as well, so you should be able to get through it relatively easily. We're going to start off by looking at a little riff that it starts out on, and then we go into the verses and the chorus and then whatnot. Okay, so we're going to start off by playing our little F major riff. Okay, we're starting off on our F, up on our 8th fret of our A string. We're going to move up to the octave of another F, and then move down. So we're going 8 on our A string, 10 on our G string. We want to go down to our 9th fret on our G string, to the 10th on our D string, 7 on our G string, 7 on our D string, and 10 on our D string. So all together. Okay, now we just repeat that riff again, but we stop when we get to our A note, so our 7th on our D string, and then we're going to hold that for 4 beats. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. On the one beat after, we'll play our 8th, the 8th fret on our D string for 1 beat. So all together. Just like that. It's nice, simple, relatively slow riff. Okay, and we're just starting that. So that'll be our intro. That's 4 bars. After that, we're getting into our verse. Now, first off, let's take a look at the chords we'll be using in our verse. Okay, starting off on an F. Okay, brilliant. On an F, I'm going to hold that for 2 bars basically, so we're just playing F and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I should say F, we're playing it an E-shaped bar chord on our 1st fret. So our first finger on the 1st fret of our E string, ring finger on the 3rd fret of our D string, little finger on the 3rd fret of our D string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of our G string, and then our first finger is barring our 1st frets of our B and E strings. All together we have a nice F chord. I'm going to move up to a B flat now. There's a couple of different ways you can play your B flat. You can play it up on your 6th fret, so it'll be the same shaped bar chord as our F. We'll just move that up to our 6th fret. Okay, we're holding that for 2 bars again. Then we have our C. Let's move up 2 frets from our B flat, so up to B flat, B, C. We'll be playing that on our 8th fret. Same shape as our F bar chord. We're going to move back down to our B flat. Now, relatively simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So that's our first section of this verse. We can think of this verse as being split up into 2 different sections. They've both got the same chords in them, but things change very slightly in our the second half of our verse basically. So we start again with our F, move up to our B flat, so we're sticking on our F for 2 bars, a B flat for 2 bars, but we're not going to be changing to our C, okay, straight away. I'm going to be playing our B flat for 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to play it again, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, but on the second bar we play our B flat, so 1, 2, 3. We're going to play our B flat for 3 beats, 1, 2, 3. Move up to our C for 1 beat, and then back down to our B for 2 bars again. Okay. So all together we have our F to our B flat again. Quickly move up to our C and back down to our B flat. So let's go through that very slowly. So we have our F 2, 3, 4, F 2, 3, 4, B flat 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 2, 3, C, B flat 2, 3, 4, B flat 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's our verse right there. Okay, it's relatively simple. It's nice and easy to get through. There's a couple of chords, but if you might notice there's not a whole lot going on in the rhythm department. It's because there's not a whole lot of rhythm in this song. We're just there to add some harmony to the vocals, really. So what we can do, we can add a little bit of rhythm. But I want to leave this up to you to see what you can come up with when you're playing a song like this. You can add rhythm as long as it fits the song. You can't just go straight into it. You want to try and make the rhythm fit the song. So if we take a little listen to this. So there we go, we have an example of me playing a rhythm that fits the song. And I'm not thinking a whole lot about it, I'm just feeling where the music is going and adding in my chords where I think they'll sound nice and add a little bit of emphasis to certain sections of it. You can hear the constant drum beat in the background, like so the drums are going relatively simply, so you'll should be able to work out something that you think will sound quite nice. Now, literally anything will do. Cool. Right, okay, so now we'll move on to our riff, our little riff section. It's really simple. We're just going to do this in between the verses, basically, and in between the verse and the last section. We're just going F on our first fret of our E string, in between another F on the third fret of our D string. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, we're just going to do that for 2 bars. So after we've got through our riff once, we're going to go on to our second verse, which is exactly the same as our first verse. Okay, so it's nice and simple. We play our second verse, onto our riff again. Okay, fantastic. And then we're into the last section of our song, which is our long outro / chorus. Okay, so this has some slightly more difficult chords in it, but I think they should still be relatively simple for us. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to play our F again, but instead of holding it for 2 bars this time, it's just the first bar. It's just 1 bar again. So F, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to change to an E flat sus 2. Okay, we'll get onto that chord later. B flat, and back to our F. Okay, fantastic. So we have our F, we've done our F before, hasn't changed at all. Our E flat sus 2. Now this chord is the same as if we were playing a D chord, an open D chord, but we're taking off this finger, so we're leaving our E open. We move it down and put our first finger there to bar it. Okay, so there you go. So we're moving up, going from our D to our E flat, suspended second here, okay? So that chord is played. First finger on our D string on the first fret, ring finger on the third fret of our G string, pinky finger on our fourth fret of our B string, and then we're barring our first finger onto our E on the first fret as well. Like that. Now if we play that for one bar, we're going to be playing our B flat. We're going to play it in a different position this time. So instead of up here on the 6th fret, we'll be playing it down here on our first fret. So we have our first finger on the first fret of our A string, our G ring finger barring the D, G and B strings on our 3rd fret, and our first finger barring our high E as well on the first fret. All together. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is another one where you can add your own rhythm into it. I've intentionally left the rhythm as lacking, so you can have a little bit of room to play around with it. So you could do something like. Okay, fantastic. Now. This song can be a little bit tricky just to hear the guitar in it, because the guitar is very minor, it's very in the background in this one. Okay, so you're going to have to listen to more the sound of the notes of the violin rather than actually trying to listen out for a guitar. Now all the notes are the same, but it might be a little bit tricky, so we'll go over it in the lesson as well. So it just gives you a little bit of extra help with it, okay? Cool. So yeah, brilliant.